Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another advent calendar for Advent Calendar Week. I am in a bit of a different setting at the moment. My hair is also different, so if you're noticing those things, you're correct. Things are different. I'm at my boyfriend's house and I'm on holiday, and I had my hair done by the absolutely amazing Madeline. She does a fantastic job, and yes, we even had a cut. It is shorter. I took my extensions out, so if you're noticing big changes are happening. I did recently do a beauty advent calendar video, which I've done, I think I started doing it last year, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. And this year I wanted to expand on it a little bit more because I know you guys enjoy the advent calendar videos. However, I will say that this is not going to be as in-depth as that video. This is more of a video to sort of spark your inspiration, to sort of get you going on a hunt for advent calendars that would be suitable for you. These ones are going to be less beauty related. I am going to talk about a couple of beauty ones, but they're more like targeted at family style advent calendars. So advent calendars for other members of your family, and advent calendars that you can share as a family. So I'm going to scooch over here. We can stick some pictures up here, and I'm going to start by talking about advent calendars for babies. Now, they kind of don't exist. Babies, obviously, you know, they're babies. They want their mum. They want their mum and their dad, and that's it. But you can get high contrast advent calendars for babies. I personally, I mean, I guess it depends how into Christmas you are, and whether your baby responds to high contrast imagery anyway. Now, when your kids get a little bit older, so we're talking like toddler age, and they can be a little bit more, I suppose, aware of what's going on, really good ones to start with. If you want to avoid chocolate advent calendars, obviously, I mean, they're probably the best and favorites for the little ones in your life. The picture advent calendars, so they're just like two-dimensional advent calendars where you just open up a little window, and behind it there's a picture, and there's also a cat. Hi, Nee. Everyone's gonna wonder who you are. This is Chris's cat. Her name is Nee. She's a sweet girl. So these advent calendars are really traditional. You find them everywhere, and I suppose when I was a kid, there were, besides chocolate advent calendars, it was pretty much all that was available as far as I was aware. So they are still around, and these days you can get some really, really beautiful ones. They don't have to be, you know, religious theme. You can get a lot more really beautiful, like holiday themed advent calendars now. You can even get three-dimensional ones, which are fantastic. So if you want to make it really special, you can. They're typically not reusable though. Once you open the window, they're open. Another one that's good for young kids that I've noticed this year, and I'm sure they've been around prior to this year, but they're everywhere at the moment. They are little mini book advent calendars. So it's quite a large calendar. You open it up, and inside there's a little book for every day in the lead up to Christmas. The ones that I'm seeing the most at the moment are Disney themed, but I've also seen Pokemon, Marvel, and Cocomelon. I am sure that if your child responds well to books, this could also be a good one for really like young toddlers who like to be read to. If your child has you know, something that they're obsessed with at the moment, you could probably look up that obsession and book advent calendar and find something that would be suitable. I do also think that these advent calendars could be reused potentially for a couple of years. They're going to grow out of them though, obviously, so that's something to keep in mind, but it's an alternative to a chocolate advent calendar. Let's keep in the child category, but move up a few years to children who are probably not going to put small objects in their mouth, but have dexterous little fingers and might like to put things together. My suggestion here would 100% be a Lego advent calendar. I actually get one every year. I think for the last 3 years I've had one, and I plan on getting one this year. I always get the Harry Potter one, and usually there's also a Lego Friends, and I think it's a Lego City. Those ones have been out every year, and I've noticed, I think maybe it was the last year, maybe even years prior to that, they were bringing out different themed ones. So this year I've seen Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy. And if your child is into things like Lego, but they're a bit too young, I believe there is also a Duplo one, and there is a Playmobil one as well. So they're fantastic for kids who like to, you know, open up an advent calendar, but also sort of be active and put stuff together every day. I find it really fun. It's great. Now, again, I was talking about how, you know, if your child is kind of obsessed with something, you can probably find an advent calendar themed around it. So I've also seen a Polly Pocket one, which if I had known that this was a thing, the cat is biting my elbow. If I had known that Polly Pocket advent calendars were a thing, I would have been buying these years ago. I've seen a Peppa Pig advent calendar. They also have advent calendars from Play-Doh. You can, if your kid's into like fidgets and stuff like that, there are so many of those on the market. I've seen slime advent calendars. I've seen dinosaur themed advent calendars, Thomas the Tank Engine. I've seen Barbie, and one that is just everywhere, and they make so many different varieties of it, are the Funko advent calendars. Like, if you're into this stuff or your child's into this stuff, they make one that is themed for everyone. Moving into like preteen or early teen children, you're probably finding that girls might be interested in some beauty things. I am being a bit stereotypical here, so obviously it's not going to suit, you know, all children. And I think obviously you know your kids best. You probably know what they're into, so you can use that information and just Google X advent calendar and find something that would potentially suit your child and their particular joys in life. But if you do have like a preteen or an early teen female child who is into, or even a male child, there I go again, being stereotypical, but if you have someone who's interested in like beauty and bath type products, and you're not going to drop a few $100s on one of the beauty advent calendars that I showed in my past video, then you might want to consider the one from Soap and Glory. Now, I mentioned this one and not really others, mostly because I know Soap and Glory as a brand. I respect them and I trust their products, and I know that they're nice products and they're made well. If you are looking at cheaper advent calendars, I know like Pretty Little Thing does one, and there's a few other like cheaper retailers that make these like budget beauty advent calendars. I would just say to please do your research and, you know, check what's in the advent calendar, because sometimes the products that are made for the advent calendar they're not the best quality, and that, you know, that makes me, it's a bit of a red flag for me. So I would definitely look for a brand that is quite reputable, reliable, and that, you know, you have some faith in them and the products that they're putting in their advent calendar. Please try to do your research on brands and stuff like that before you buy these advent calendars, especially when it comes to beauty products, things that kids or young people might be putting on their skin, around their mouth, around their eyes, things like that. But Soap and Glory I really like. I think I've even had it one year many moons ago, and I always do have a little look at it just to see what they've put in there. And it's a reputable brand, it's sold by reputable retailers, it's been around for a long time. Now, when we move into the boys or even the girls who they're not into beauty, maybe they're into other stuff, two really cool ones that I found that, like, I kind of even want them for me. I found an electronic games advent calendar where essentially what you do is you open up the advent calendar and each day you are putting a little piece of it's like an 8-bit game system together. I thought that was fantastic. I've seen some awesome advent calendars this year, and that one I thought would be really cool for boys to put together with their dads, or even girls. Like, I think you guys get it. Like, it's 2022. Like, you like what you like. Your kid likes what they like. It doesn't matter about the gender. And I also saw a science advent calendar that was basically targeted at doing like mini scientific experiments every day, which is really fun. That could be great to do with your child as well if they're a bit younger, but they're into that kind of thing. That, you know, they might need a bit of supervision if you're a bit unsure about letting them do it on their own, or if they're older, just give it to them and be like, have at it, enjoy the lead up to Christmas. For the special man in your life, I found a couple of advent calendars that I really enjoy that are around like self-care, or based around self-care. The Liberty Men's, I always, like, if I was a guy, but with the soul of me, this is the one I would want. It is awesome. It's basically a men's beauty advent calendar. I think it's fantastic. The Bayliss and Harding one is also really nice as well, so they do one for him and her. One that I found that was really cool and I think is kind of on trend for a lot of men at the moment is the Bearded Man Co. 24 Days of Beard Treats Advent Calendar. So if you have a man in your life who enjoys growing his beard, these guys make an Advent calendar just for that. But of course, if your man is not into anything like that, then I would actually say check back on Thursday's video, the next one that I'm gonna publish, because there might be something in there for him instead. Now, it's a little bit sad that Nee has decided to abandon me. She's totally side-eyeing me right now, like, you did not give me the best cuddles that you possibly could. I think it's appropriate to talk about pet advent calendars. So this is another one where, you know, I talked about buying cheaper beauty advent calendars, like budget beauty advent calendars, and how you should try to be mindful and careful about the quality of the products that you're buying. And I just want to specify that this is also a category where I think you should be very careful about the quality of what you're purchasing for your furry loved one, because they are most likely going to eat the contents of it, and you know, you want to make sure that it's safe for them. But there are two that I particularly like. For cats, the Lily's Kitchen advent calendar is quite good, and it comes from an extremely reputable brand. I believe they do also make one for dogs, so you know, if you don't have a cat and you have a dog, then that's an option. But there was one that I saw from Layla and Me for the dogs, which looked great as well. So those two brands I know, I respect, and I would be confident buying from. Last year I purchased 2 advent calendars for my dog. I bought her a 12-day toy advent calendar, which I picked up at Costco. I did actually find this online on Amazon, so I'll leave a link to it, but I picked mine up at Costco. I think it was a bit more expensive on Amazon as well, so definitely check out places like Costco, because they do have some cool advent calendars. And her treat advent calendar I actually just picked up at the local pet store, and she loved it. I definitely think when it comes to cats and dogs, it's quite easy to find advent calendars for them at local pet stores. Unless you live in an area where it's not common to find those types of things. In Melbourne, they're in every pet store and you've got like multiple options. And I imagine that would be the case in many big cities. You might struggle a bit more in smaller cities. So you can find them online for your pets if you want to. So last category that I want to talk about are family related advent calendars. So these are advent calendars that you can share. I have to mention like probably the most traditional type, because I know that there's like history rooted in this type of advent calendar, but I'm not overly familiar with it. So I'm not going to try and explain it to you, but candles. Candles are actually wildly popular for Advent. And these days, and for many, many years, I mean, I saw these when I was a kid, you can get countdown advent calendars, or advent candles, sorry. And essentially what you do is you just burn the advent calendar down to each point for each day in the lead up to Christmas. And I mean, we're in very modern times, so now you can find some really, really beautiful advent candles. Another type of advent calendar that you can share with your family is an ornament advent calendar. Now, the basic premise behind this is behind each door or every drawer that you open in the lead up to Christmas, there's a little ornament that you can pop on your Christmas tree. Now, I found 3 this year that I'm going to show you. I have to say, I don't know who's buying these. They are extremely expensive and quite bougie. However, all 3 of them are reusable, so you can pop the items back in the advent calendar and then open them up again the following year. So this could be a really nice family tradition, especially if you have just one very bougie item that you pull out every Christmas in the lead up and open as a family. So the first one is from Swarovski. I believe they've made these, like they make one every year, and I think they're always different, but nobody is spending $1,200 a year on an advent calendar for their tree. But essentially what they have here, it's a 25-day advent calendar. And behind each door there's like an ornament, a little figurine, there's magnets apparently, and they say you can use them to adorn a festive table or tree, or could be presented as a gift, or used in some way throughout Christmas. They say it is not a toy and it's not suitable for children under 15. They're all made from Swarovski crystals. It's bougie. If you're into that kind of thing, it's there, and I think it could be a really nice family kind of tradition, essentially. Another one is Wedgwood. They also do this every year, and again, it's an advent calendar that has little ornaments in it. And the last ornament advent calendar that I want to show you guys is probably the one that I would buy if I was going to buy one of these. It's from Villeroy and is it Bosch or Bock? I'm not sure. But this is the Christmas Toys Memory Advent Calendar. So it is essentially a reusable advent calendar, which only has 24 doors, but that's fine because it's a lead up to Christmas. And inside each drawer, there is a little ornament that you can put on a little ceramic Christmas tree. Every day it is super freaking cute. I love the idea of this. I think it is super cute and fantastic, but it's also so expensive, ridiculously expensive. This retails for 850 Australian dollars. Like, it's a lot. But if you did want to share another type of advent calendar with your family, one that I found that I thought was kind of cute is actually a jigsaw puzzle advent calendar. So essentially how this works is each day you open up a door, and inside there are a bunch of jigsaw puzzle pieces that fit together, and then over the course of the 24 days in the lead up to Christmas, you create a large, I think it was over 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, which is awesome. So it's kind of like a little bit of family time, sit down, put the jigsaw puzzle together, but without the frustration of trying to put together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle in one long sitting, or over the space of 24 days and lead up to Christmas and you are bound to lose pieces. Although, I mean, I guess the risk is there with this type of thing anyway. But I still like the idea of it. I think it's cute, a little bit of quality family time. It's nice. So those were just some of the advent calendars that I came across this year. Hopefully it gives you guys some inspiration on finding advent calendars that will work best for people in your family or your family as a whole. I will be back in a couple of days with another advent calendar video that is a little bit more, look, I'm calling it an adults only advent calendar video, but there are some things in there that would be just fine for other members of the family. I just don't think it would be suitable for children to watch, that's all. So keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have purchased any advent calendars for your family members or your family as a whole this year, or if you're planning to, or if you want to let me know what you've done in past years, please let me know down in the comments. I'm always keen to see what you guys are buying for advent calendar season. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.